Hello, my friends. How are you all doing? I hope you are well, super well, fantastic, super fantastic. In fact, that's what I hope for. Oh, I'm a bit fuzzy again. That didn't help. Cool. Next one. Of course, it's probably the lighting and whatever else as well. Who cares? So great, good to see everybody. How are you all doing in the chat? 1 minute delayed here at the start of this show because I was trying to get my Streamlabs linked up to my Twitter so that I would be able to have this tweeted automatically out to people or whatever. But yeah, didn't work out that way. Didn't work out. It's just taking too long, so I ditched it. And here I am instead. Brilliant. Great to see you all. And yeah, I've not set up my browser again. We're going to be talking AMC stock technical analysis and GameStop stock technical analysis. And is everybody in the chat super jacked? I'm sure you're super jacked. I'm sure you must be, because GameStop have removed all of the red from their logo. Let me just scroll up here in the Discord chat. By the way, if you want to join the Discord, you can. And then look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Do you notice this is the GameStop logo? See the GameStop logo here? Do you see that? What's missing? What's missing from the logo? No more red. Hey, no more red. No more red on their logo. You telling me that I don't need red crayons anymore whenever I want to do my GameStop doodling? I don't need to get my red crayon out when I want to go doodle my GameStop logo. What? And then the reply here. Look at that reply. Look at that. The cool face. The cool face reply. Boo, cool guys don't look at explosions sort of thing. They just go dropping that cool new lack of red logo back in black. We see Salamander saying in the chat there, back in black. And yeah, wow, no more red. No more red. Well, let's go check out the charts then, if that's the case. If that's the case and everything's so splendiferous and there ain't no red, then let's go. What am I typing here? Trading view, that's the word. Let's go take a look at the charts. Whoa. Let's go take a look at the charts. I hope to see that there's a scope for some green today on the charts. If that's the case, then where did we end up? Well, we ended up at around about 204. Did pop down the way a wee bit there. To be honest. Now it did pop down a wee bit there, but it didn't go down as far as 200. It put in a higher low, what we were talking about overall, and we managed to stay outside the negative control zone, the bearish control zone, and we've come back down to the edge of that gap again. And if I just pop on the old extended hours, I think what we're looking at here pre-market. Why is it not telling me my pre-market number? Wait a minute, are we open? No, we're not open. I thought pre-market was open though. Anyway, am I being dumb here? Am I being dumb? Something going on that I'm being dumb. What's happening? Anyway, yeah. So we'll be checking on all that later, and we can also see how the chat's getting on. We'll be enjoying the chat up above here. Oops, above my head, it's being slightly blocked by the doodah. Move that doodah over a bit, try and get this working a bit better. And yeah. So I'm going to check out what all the chat are saying in there. Had a nice chat, a nice conversation with Bad Mama Jama, Tony, Dober Mamba in the Discord before going live. That was nice. That was cool. That was really awesome. Right, so let me just scroll back up to the top of the chat here because I know I missed a few. I can see Dormamba in there actually saying, I wanted to yell at the top of my lungs, but decided to save your ears and not wake up my neighborhood. That must have been in that chat before. Harley Hellcat says, good morning, guys. Wonder what will happen today. Hope AMC and GME green today. Everyone, let's go. Well, on Instagram, at least, GameStop is decided to remove the red from their logo. Is that another subtle is that another subtle hint to us, or have we all been smoking far too much weed and we're reading into things that aren't there? What one is it? What one is it? Who knows? I'm going to just choose to go on the side of tits jacked positivity. I'm going to read into that far more than they possibly could have ever have meant, and essentially just say that the GameStop Instagram is telling me through these messages that they're putting out that there'll be no more red on the GameStop chart. That's what I'm taking from that one, rightly or wrongly. There's pre-market on post-market. That's post-market on AMC. They're not going to show me my pre-market things. No pre-market for Rocky. Or is this is it going to show me? Is pre-market really, whatever. Anyhow, yeah, so currently then $53.30, right? Where did we end the day at? We ended the day at 54. So it's not like it's the massive push up the way, but that's fine. It's like, we're ending within the size of we're ending more without there being much, is that right? There might not be a gap on the charts. Yeah, it looks to me like on any sort of significant time frame, there'd be no gaps or whatever. It's just small term stuff. So that'll be cool. Get that all sorted out pretty quick, early doors with that one. Oh, look, yes, I've gone live. Bad Mama Jamma. Thanks for sharing that. You know what? Again, I'll just reiterate it once again as well. I massively appreciate it. How about we dedicate this episode? Let's dedicate this live stream to all of the people who support this channel, support each other, and are good people. Let's dedicate it to all the good people out there. Okay, so all of our positive thoughts today, all of our positive energy goes directed towards good people out there, such as yourselves in the chat, right? What else am I missing here from the chitter chatter? I'm seeing that we've got loads of people here. I'll just give some shouts. Nova Scotia Unicorn, Kim Robbins, Backyard Music Feedback, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, JCI5M3, Sal Emander, Frostcrest, good to see ya. Like the stream, y'all. Good advice, Frostcrest. Thanks for that one. Bad Mama Jamma, let's go. Tony Wright, whoop, stoked. Let's go. Yes, nice one. Burning Ken, good to see you. Dave's not here, man. Good to see ya. Fed, we've got there. Space Bananas, TS9. Daniel Assange just dropping in a $5 there. If you wrap your head in tinfoil, sometimes the messages go away. I was trying that yesterday myself, actually, Daniel, now you mention it. I was trying that. I put a t-shirt around my head, and I hoped my hair would go extra curly as a result. It's got this little kind of bump in it as I tied it up, but it turned out still looking pretty frazzled today. Frustrating. Well, maybe it was because I was using a t-shirt instead of cotton. That's maybe instead of cotton instead of tinfoil. Why have cotton when you can have tinfoil? Isn't that what they say? Harsh, there's my buddy Harsh. How you doing, Harsh? Been a while since I've given you a shout out in a stream. No doubt you've been tuning in, and it's good to see you, my friend. Excellent. I am not a cat. Do that like thing. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Yes, man. Frostcrest says didn't join last night because it was late, but I did get a notification for your stream about 12 hours ago. Nice. Well, that's good to know. Space Monkey, good morning. Good morning, Space Monkey. Good to see you. Die another Dave. Rocket, rocket, rocket. Good to have you there. TX Hedgehog. Hey, hello, everybody. You know what it is today? It's Friday. Let's go. This Friday. It's Friday, yeah. It's Friday, yeah. Oh yeah, Rocky. Oh yeah, Vivenna. Chris K. Whoop whoop. I'm late, but I'm here. You're not that late. You're not that late because all of us are early. Good morning, America. Good morning, America. I am not a cat. Says welcome to another round of GME. In today's episode, where else can we hide the FTDs? That's right, our pockets are full of FTDs. We've scrunched them up tiny and put them in our ear holes. We've scrunched them up and put them in where our wisdom teeth used to be. We've obviously filled up all of our other holes with them too, and yeah, they're starting to kind of fall out, aren't they? Sam Bone, Rocky, new Robinhood news. Trading app Robinhood said Thursday it has settled a wrongful death lawsuit filed on behalf of a 20-year-old trader. Right. Okay, so that's maybe that there. That's that. I hope. What can I say about that news, man? Thanks for sharing. I suppose, and my best wishes to the family and to all those who go through similar experiences. And of course, now if you ever have any issues like that, there are helplines out there. Yeah, good to see Harsh, and good to see that you're doing well. Party at Rocky's place. Yeah, it's Friday. Yeah, party at Rocky's place. It's Friday. Yeah. Now remember, simply thank you. Be kind. Be the hero. I hear the moon is rocky. Yes, it's rocky. It's cheesy. I think we kind of embody both of those aspects here. Like, says Tony Wright. Yeah, like. But you know what? Most of you probably have already. If you're on a TV set, you can hit up and hit like. But hey. Whoop-a. I'm just happy that yous are here. Sally Mander, I put a ton. I put a bit of time into complaining at Google about notifications yesterday. Actually got them on time this morning. Coincidence or not? I don't know. Like, how does that? Is it? Most of my complaints are just responded by some chirpy social media employee, and I'm like, "What's going on here?" And they're like, "Hey, how can I help?" And then I think, "Oh, wait a minute, it's just some 20-year-old dude trying his best, having to deal with millions of messages coming in from people, and that not actually any sort of, so I've never got anywhere when I'm talking to them, sympathetic with the people trying to answer back to me, but there's no point in worrying about it after a certain point. Chris K, anybody see that GameStop's coming out with announcement? Well, I saw something over here that we were kind of having a quick look at earlier on together forever. There must be an announcement coming. Whoop, 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 whoop. GME replying with cool face. Cool face. Well, we know that there are announcements coming because GameStop and, of course, companies like GameStop, as we all know, that are highly innovative, really dynamic, fresh, forward-thinking board members that have got like massive amounts of experience in terms of like building up markets and building up the e-commerce platforms and everything else that they're really gearing up for. That's got $1 billion in the bank and ain't got no debt. Yeah, you know that they've got announcements coming. Companies like that have announcements coming. They always have announcements coming, right? So, yeah, it's good. It's good that they do little things like change their logo up on Instagram, give you a wee taste of something. Somebody's like, "Oh, must be an announcement coming. There must be an announcement coming." Well, we already know that we're waiting for them to announce their NFT. Now, the NFT thing, let's be clear, right? It's very confusing for the vast majority of people, onlookers, considering the NFT thing. It's very, very, very confusing, right? Because most people don't realize that an NFT isn't like a typical cryptocurrency in that they're not really traded and used for payment places, etc. So then you have this confused language going on where people are like, yeah, it's amazing that they're building this NFT. Wouldn't it be great to have this cryptocurrency that they're developing? And it's kind of like, well, no, that's not exactly what that is. And then as well, people are like think, well, we can use it for so many different purposes. And wouldn't it be cool? It would be. I mean, I'm not going to say it wouldn't be cool if they used it for some sort of dividend that created some sort of extra upsurge in the price because people were like, oh, this is difficult to manage this situation, I'd rather at least just stop, from a point of view like that they would just stop lending out their shares themselves, the brokerages to other brokerages, and stuff like that. That would be kind of handy and stuff. Because they think to themselves it would be more cost efficient and easier for us if we just simply were the kind of, in terms of the business to business side, if they acted like bad actors and didn't help another one of their pals in this sort of circle jerk, by being a good actor and acting in good faith for their own customers instead for once, then you'd be like, hey, that's great. Thanks, guys. You're really helping everything, and they're also being good. And maybe for them, they might think for a month or something, maybe we should act like this because it'll help us, down the line with our customers and having given that, acted in good faith and whatever. So it'd be cool, right? That would be cool if they decided to start doing that. And then, of course, the prices were to go up, etc., etc., and then a series of events happened. So I was talking to somebody yesterday, like who like Frostcrest, it was, shout out to Frostcrest, saying what would be a good catalyst for me. Or no, it was D Harker. It was D Harker. Yeah. So Dom's asking me what would be a good catalyst, and I was saying, well, price primarily, but obviously the whole package together. But whether or not that's the case, I almost give no shits. Why? Because, like I say, an amazing and innovative company like GameStop with such a fresh board of directors with really forward-thinking ideas that are hiring in new people with extreme amounts of experience and global markets that drive in massive success for huge companies are going to have innovation and announcements all the time. And they are genuinely working on an NFT thing. It's not some rumor that maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Well, they genuinely are, and they're talking about it. So things like GameStop allowing people to use other cryptocurrencies within their stores just to pay for things, or to have a crypto wallet that was through their store, for example. Neither of those ideas having anything at all to do with nft.gamestop.com would be amazing innovation and fantastic to see, and part of this new world economy that GameStop wants to be one of the biggest players in. Why? Well, because it is the new world, and GameStop wants to be one of the biggest companies in the world. And what happens to the new world? Well, it becomes just the world, and the world, whenever the new world becomes the world, becomes the old world. And nobody wants to be the king of the old world. They want to be the king of the new world. So yeah, bing fuckety bong, right? Anyway, brilliant. I'm super stacked. Stacked? Yeah, stoked. I'm super jacked and stoked, and I guess I'm stacked on this one as well, and feeling pretty positive. He's all happy in there in the Discord. I'm going to stop kind of spying on you and broadcasting your chats out to the world and go back over to the charts here. So yeah, smash the like button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. I'm just feeling positive all round. Let's just cast our mind back over the week here for us on GME real quick. Here's AMC. Over the week, what have we had? Well, have we had super positive price action? No, we haven't really, to be perfectly honest. But what has been happening? Well, we talked all about these conditions with whether or not that would be an AMC would be in an ascending triangle, right? Or whether or not it's in this ascending triangle over here, and this actually just coming in for a higher low at some point. We've actually talked about this in a number of different ways that could line up already. So this pushing outside that area wasn't that big a deal. We also talked about the fake out territory of this ascending triangle. Maybe I can just zoom on in even more. We also talked about the fake out territory of this ascending triangle with regards to pushing outside of this zone, if this were to be the case, and how if this fake out territory operated in that manner, then it's simply just extending this on the way. And as you can see, I was using the wick down at the bottom of this thing to line it up anyway. It's like you can line it up body to body, and you've got a whole loads of scope here to kind of get this. You can do, so like regardless of this thing, this all a pattern really does is show you this psychology in the markets, and the key components of patterns are things like fake out territory, breakout territory. Breakouts by 99.999% of people who talk about them really are considered to be just pushing past the line really in and of itself, so that was a breakout towards the downside, and movement up the way and closing up above this line would be a breakout towards the top side. I've never really talked about it that way. I've always talked about it as being fake out until it's a breakout. And if there's going to be a fake out territory, again, one of the only people in the world I've ever heard about talking about fake out territory. It's something I talk about. Nobody else does. They don't kind of build that into their analysis. And I'm saying, well, hey, it's a fake out till it's a breakout. But people then sometimes would say, well, it broke out and it broke back in again. Well, hey, whatever. Bing bong. Shout out to all the new followers, says D Harker. Oh, man, thanks for that. Tell you what, if you've joined into this channel recently, you are so welcome here. Thanks so much for joining the family. We're a big family. Super happy to have you here. And over time, I'm going to try as hard as I can, if you are in the chat, etc., to get to know you, give you shout outs and everything else, even though the community is growing all the time. Absolutely fantastically blown away by the support that people have shown recently. Really, I truly am. And seeing the channel has grown up to 7,800 and something subscribers, it's so amazing. I'm actually looking towards 10K, thinking that's achievable sometime, in the next couple of months. What's that all about? It's weird to be saying it because I was looking at it at the start of the year thinking it'd be really awesome to be like confident about being able to get to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the year, just to be confident that I could get there. Having only got to 2,000 subscribers after a full year of doing content every day. So, you know, wow, amazing. And it's like, so to think that, so just so you know, you're so appreciated. It's so amazing. I'm so glad you're here. And to be part of this journey that we're all on together. Amazing. This community that we've got here is ultra positive, by the way, and it will stay ultra positive all the time, no matter what. Even if we're going through a bit of a sort of a move on the AMC charts here that could be considered negative and would be considered in some senses by some people to be a breakout, we don't need to call it a fake out, and we don't need to move the lines to stay positive, because we're going to do that anyway. We're going to stay positive anyway. But yeah, as it happens, you know, the reality of this thing is that you know, there's so many different ways of lining this up, and of course, in terms of the whole ascending triangle format, when you're talking about it, this area where we pushed up above is obviously somewhat you know, outside of the bounds of it. Whereas, see if I got towards the 3-day time frame, and then that's us entirely. It's entirely wick. So it's a question of where your perspective is. Perhaps the 2-day time frame where I can draw it in here makes it seem, you know, the best. And if you're thinking about things from the perspective in your own head of how many days do we have to wait, how many days, etc., do we have to wait? Well, this is fine. I did say at the start of the week, this is Friday, just let me double check, I've not had a brain moment. Yeah, I did say at the start of the week that what I wanted to see happen was positivity, or at least, you know, and sideways action would be fine by me to continue the kangaroo aspect of things right through to the end of the week, as opposed to going up in Wednesday, getting a bit of positivity that feels like maybe we're going to do something good for the rest of the week, and then withdrawing straight back, you know, all the way down, and it not being and not being positive and being disappointing instead. And for me, on terms of the AMC chart, that figure was in it around about 200 what 200 I'm talking no what sorry in it's GME numbers, 62 to $64 there. That's what I was saying, you know. And well, we haven't done that this week, and overall I'm actually completely satisfied with that, which is maybe not what everybody expects to hear, but it isn't some sort of self-brainwashed, I'm always going to stay positive. It's that we are a really positive community. We don't actually experience FOMO and greed and panic and fear in markets when we trade here. That's just not the way of the Rocky Outcrop competition. But moreover, the analysis is still actually sound. So over here on GME as well, then how are we talking with that? Because this is, as you can see, not being like set in the Hedara light, as we like to talk about in Scotland. On the 24-hour time frame, you can see a little bit clearer that we're obviously floating along down here below. What is this? This is the 18 period exponential moving average. This green line, that's number 18 period exponential moving average, just below us. Just above us all the way along here, and that's fine as we've been coming down towards this 50 simple moving average, and we are still aware of the potential for the prices to go to 177. I mean, I almost feel a little bit bad and good talking about that potential, you know, overall, because on the one hand, reminding people that it's still possible, of course, is great, because that's going to only enhance your patience overall for rewards towards the top side and all that sort of stuff, and keep you feeling less fearful, etc. But then on the other hand, it gets people really jacked about the idea of being able to get, you know, 20% off the price of their shares, etc. And I would hate to feel like I'd been saying to people, you know, oh, you can't do anything. Like I say, I'm not actually a financial advisor. You know, I'm not actually here to financially advise you on these things. Not actually. I'm actually here to educate and entertain. Two things that I hope to feckin' goodness I've been doing okay recently. And I think the subscriber numbers and the attention rates and everything else and the likes and all that speak somewhat to it. So yeah, fantastic. And you know what? All of you here during the live show as well, an extra special shout out to you. Now, I appreciate, by the way, for folk tuning in later, I mean, there's Australians out there and stuff like that. People in Asia, they can't tune in right now because it's the wrong time. I get that. That's totally fine. But for everybody who actually is here during the live streams, there's just a little, and not at the exclusion of people who can't make it. again. But just an extra little special shout out to all of you because these are absolutely fantastic, wonderful people. You'll notice yesterday, for example, I did that video with the whole "What's the inner thoughts of Ken Griffin's head," and it was a bit mad. We were all having a good laugh here in the chart in the live stream, really enjoying it. It was great crack. Well, I mean, I was enjoying it, and I read in the comments afterwards people saying a few times that me laughing at my own jokes was funny. So there was a degree, at least, of meta enjoyment from the audience, and I didn't get any down like nobody really hits the down vote on my videos. They don't. All you people here tuning in, choosing to be here and not choosing to be here because you're negative. Which happens on some other people's streams. You see it all the time. Some people will tune in religiously just to hit the downvote button, as if they need to be negative. Whereas no, that just doesn't happen here. And that is because yous are all fantastic. Whether you're in the chat box actually chatting and all the rest of it, or lurking or whatever. So that's a shout out to all of you. That's what this episode's dedicated to, though. It's dedicated to all of you, okay? It's dedicated to all of you. That's what we're doing here. So remaining positive on the GME prices as we see that we're still above the 50 simple moving average here on the daily time frame, acknowledging that we do have the potential to drop down to these lower areas where we'd hopefully find structural support in the markets, looking over to the left and saying this is where we had a degree of resistance up above and finding it. We also had that signal that pops up on the DMI, which is over here, saying that potentially the prices could come back down to these levels. That's the 24-hour time frame. Could come back. That's the wrong chart that I was looking at there. Where was it anyway? Oh, this has got the extended hours on it too, so it messes that up, or wherever it is. I can't remember where it was. On one of the charts, one of the time frames on one of those charts, there's a one of these, but here, the 12-hour time frame. Is that what I was looking at? I don't know if I've done something to. It was the 24-hour time frame. Yeah, it was the 24-hour time frame, and this all ended whenever the prices came up towards the 210 area. So and one of these things that I talk about this indicator is, of course, there's two things. The thing that was written on one of those subreddits yesterday. I think it might have been Super Stonk, by the way. I'm not too sure. And shout out to all the people who contribute and read and provide the value on Super Stonk and the community and the atmosphere as well, by the way. Fantastic people, but not to put Super Stonk ahead of everything else, because there's tons of really good subreddits out there that do all this sort of stuff too, and I guess they all deserve a shout out. But somebody posted, I mean, it's and none more than our trade spotting. Am I right? Hit like on the video if you haven't already, if you like our trade spotting. Anyway. Yeah, somebody posted it there, and they were talking about the DMI and explaining to people this concept of how the volatility is there, and it's not been there very often, and it could really result in the prices jacking their tits right up towards the green candle dildo heavens. And we know that that's true, right? And that's really good positive DD. The thing about making this indicator at the minute, because I'm trying to make this thing, okay? This is obviously the components, the mathematics behind it. I'm not a mathematician, never claimed to be, never would, never could. J. Wells Wilder Jr., or as I like to call him, Joels Wilder. J. Wells Wilder Jr. made the maths behind this whole thing. But what I've done to it is I've added in this perception layer on top, to enable people to kind of see things interestingly. And J. Wells Wilder Jr. never spoke about the significance of this happening. It's not something that he ever promoted himself in terms of this. So this is a unique interpretation, and I wonder what he would think about it. I really do. I really would wonder, because that guy's great. But anyway, this shows that we've got a complete lack of strength of trend, and that tends to tie in so neatly with the volatility indicators that you're likely to see it there. But this one's just so great. And what often happens then, therefore, and I'll get around to that in a second, what happens after that, therefore, is that so often the prices return exactly to where they left off from, right? So here you can see that we had this end, and it was either the candle it ends on or the candle after. I'm trying to work this out at the minute. I'm not in here saying, hey, I'm some 35-year-old dude about to be turning 36 this year who's like got all of the answers and all of the experience and everything else. But actually what I'm saying is, I think we can really, really achieve things in the markets, if we apply ourselves and dedicate ourselves. And I'm trying to do that with this indicator up here that I'm creating as well for free for everybody. You don't have to pay for it. If you want it, you can get it for free. I mean, it's just the DMI styled up in a way that makes it better to see. Anyway, what we can see here is that the prices so often return back to where they left off from, and it's a question mark zone as to whether it's this candle that you know, in effect then that would have been finished, or it's the candle before where in effect you could see the prices dropping down to like 180. And we can see that as well as like, well, of course, these things, then it leads up the way, and we're looking for this to be like boom and up and like continue the prior trend, and just, you know, we've ended because a lot of it comes in at the lows in the markets after you've had a strength of trend up the way. So this blue strength of trend on the ADX flying towards the top side, that's because the markets were really positive, and that is the trend. And then it drops down the way there as we're retracing against the trend. Okay, so you can see it's dropping down the way. That's the retracement against the trend. That's the correction. And you can see then when it gets to the lower end of it, that it's completely and absolutely 100% run out of steam. And it's just a correction against the trend, a correction against the prior trend. And when that then ends and you start going towards the top side, well, it's party on. But you have to be aware that you could come back to where you left off from. We can see here, bang, the price, the musical chairs stopped, and the prices went back to where they left off from exactly. Over here, you can see the musical chairs stopped. They dropped down a wee bit, came back up exactly to where it was. So it's like an amazing little signal just in terms of the here and now. You know, things are going to get so volatile, so lacking in a strength of trend, that there's such an extremely high chance that the prices will go back to where they actually are starting to depart away from that previous psychology of like, oh, we're going down, and it gets so low that then it's like, okay, we're going up, but it has to kind of force itself against that inertia, and often then it comes back for a retest. And we're seeing that potential, but we're also seeing that coming up here now for us, right? So either way, drop down to 177, I'm going to be looking at the charts with not a single drop of sweat, as I think to myself, hey, look, this indicator that I'm trying to develop here to give to people for free, to enable them to think in a way that will actually make them successful and financially independent without putting a price tag on it or any sort of guilt or anything on top. All there, totally, and talking about it as we make it, so that if it doesn't work, I'm not selling you snake oil. I'm not even selling it. That together, but it shows us, and it has done in the past, and hopefully it continues to work, that the prices would then come back to where they were before. So then you'd be looking at that and saying, fuck, that's such a good buy price if it hits the 200 simple on the 4-hour time frame and comes in at 177 or 180 or something like that. That's the golden one, because immediately you're looking at being back up there with the ability to completely manage your risk and everything else way up above again. But what would I prefer to see? Well, what I would prefer to see would be for this to sustain itself all the way up until 222, so that when we move up towards our key area of resistance and then break it, with that signal then disappearing, and we're on our way, we can go back and retest 222 to say, get it up here to everybody who thinks that we're actually, you know, having some sort of fake out movement, and we retest that, reconfirm it, therefore, as what was once resistance now being support, and then we get to go on up. And of course, Ken Griffin can't sleep. I can't sleep. And he'll be thinking about whether or not he gets to turn the prices around at 250, which is the upside resistance, or if he has to try and turn the prices around at 290, which is where that gap is, and another sort of draw, another gravity well with an event horizon around it. So like if you think about a black hole that'll suck in everything towards it, well, that's kind of like one, but a black hole that's just floating around in space isn't going to drag us into it unless we go into the event horizon. Well, where's the event horizon from that black hole of a gap on the charts? And that's going to be in and around that 222 up to 250 area. You know, you slide past 250, you are in that event horizon. It's going to be very, very, very extremely, definitely, difficultly, nearly impossible to escape it at that point, right? And that's when the prices then get dragged up there. So that's maybe then the next area that you'd be hoping to try and turn it around at, because you wouldn't try it at like 275. Well, maybe you would, but you know, the point being that you'd be better off trying it up there, and Ken probably knows that. So you'd be looking up towards the $300 round number area and saying, hey, we ain't going to break 300 again. And if that happens, of course, by that stage, you're right there, knocking on William O'Neill's 1988 cup with handle formation on the charts, saying, well, hey, look, you know, there's a solid statistical history of seeing these events play out with a movement which encapsulates the range from the base and low, which is down there at $110, you know, give or take, up towards the highs, which is up there around about $300, give or take. So you're looking at like $180 easy on there, easy sort of movement past the top side, taking you up towards these areas. And as soon as you're up there and get a single closure, what are you doing? Well, you're doing something that's never ever happened before, ever in the history of GameStop. But also, I think a bigger point is that you're doing something that's never happened in the history before of markets. We've been putting in all-time highs all over again on a stock which has already risen up 15,000% from its lows, when the Volkswagen squeeze was only 5,000% anyway, and this has gone up 3 times more than it. And then the Volkswagen squeeze, what did it do? It capitulated immediately. What did this do? It went down and it found support at $40, and it came up, put in a cup with handle, and then pushed on up higher into all-time highs. It's the least thing like the Volkswagen short squeeze in the world, because it's an entirely unique event in and of itself, which will capture the world's attention. So that would be cool. Anyway, and for me, then I suppose that relates back to the answer that I gave to D earlier. That was about the or last night, sorry, which was like, what would be a catalyst for you? And my answer was I focus on price. So I missed a couple of super chats or something there. Let me just check my wee notification doodah here and see what it says. Rocky, you are great, mate, says Andy L, who donated $4.99. Thank you so much. That's so brilliant of people to do that. It's totally amazing. I can't. It makes me happy, and I'm only getting used to talking about that. So yeah, you're great, mate. Thanks for demystifying the market. Still on for handing out bananas in Leith when we moon. Aye, sweet. Aye, hand out the bananas, mate. We'll give out the bananas. We'll go down and we'll get all the bananas and we'll just give them to people. JC, I5M3s, welcome to early supporter, mate. Thanks so much for. I apologize for that, by the way. It's purely because I'm happy. I don't want to do it. I'm working towards not doing it all the time. I honestly can't help it. It's cascade that starts happening. And it's a joyous one, so like that's cool. Anyway, so sides from that. So JM, I5M3. Wow, you became an early supporter plus. That's freaking awesome. That's freaking awesome. Yes. Thanks, man. Right. Okay. So observe thyself. Oh lordy. I just got mesmerized. When ambo, people, when mining boom. Hi, Rocky. Mining boom. By the way, this guy deserves a shout out. It's ridiculous. I'm kind of almost somewhat ashamed of myself for not giving this guy a shout out. Now, this is a guy who he couldn't give me a shout out back on his channel. So don't. This is not a quid pro quo thing here, mate. It's definitely not. Definitely not. So don't even try it, because I wouldn't want to see it happen. Why have I not subscribed? Sometimes this happens. I don't know. Right? I subscribe to your channel, mate. Anyway, my name Boom. Oh, look at that! Oh, you've already done stuff. You did that. Oh, you did a month ago. In fact, I knew that you had. I knew that you had. Anyway, this guy does these sweet ass animations, and they're funny. Hella funny, really, really good, great channel. Definitely subscribe to it. They're great animation, really funny, right? And then of course there's Jamie on there.
And now you're starting to see that.
Look at this guy here, right? Look, this guy here has decided to put this on. This is what his channel's about. He's got 40,000 subscribers, and you know what? He's just a nice guy, so he decides that he's going to put that on his channel, and get the 40,000 subscribers to watch this thing. That's just so unbelievably nice of you, mate. You don't need to do the same for me. That's super amazing. That's really appreciated. And
now you're starting to see that what we've been talking about.
Look at that. 85. Look, that was really generous of you, mate. That was really generous of you. That's appreciated. Anyway, what did you see? What did you say here? Hi, Rocky. I'd love to hear your thoughts on a possible NFT GME dividend, if you've looked into that at all. Loving your vids and community. Okay, brilliant. I'll talk about that in a second. Bad Mama Jama chucked in $20 for 2 people in the chat that are new to ask a question. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's freaking awesome. Bad Mama Jama, you guys in there, somebody pay attention. If somebody else wants to ask a specific question and cash in on those tokens that Bad Mama Jama has kind of stuck out there for people, then that's great. Just direct me back towards it in a second. But we've got Mining Boom here. Super generous guy. Thanks so much for that. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. That's really awesome. What was it you were asking there? Yeah. So, hi Rocky. I'd love to hear your thoughts on a possible NFT for GME. So GME's got this website. It's called nft.gamestop.com. I did talk about this a wee bit yesterday, but I was talking more about the about how these things kind of work in terms of blockchain, what Ethereum is in terms of, is it a cryptocurrency? Is it a blockchain? Is it a set of protocols? You know, what these things are. So I was talking about that quite a bit yesterday. But I didn't talk about, you know, so much necessarily about my thoughts on a possible NFT GME dividend. I didn't so much necessarily talk about that. So first thing, headline. The headline about an NFT GME. What are my thoughts on an NFT being distributed by GameStop as a possibly as a dividend? How can I speak? My thoughts on a possible dividend that GME could distribute. Well, anyway, my brain's obviously stopped working. Look, GameStop might distribute a dividend, which is a crypto NFT. What is an NFT? Well, it's not a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. It's different to that. It is a unique thing. It's more akin to, say, a serial number 1 Pokemon card, you know, compared to, you know, it's not transferable like the dollars in your pocket or could be swapped for the dollars in my pocket, and neither of us would know any different. They're unique things. And I think that's awesome. So headline is, it's awesome. If you know what it is, it's awesome, an awesome idea. Just for any company to do at any time, regardless of the implications for short squeezes, right? It's awesome. It would be an awesome idea. I would love it if instead of when you bought a new mobile telephone and you open up the box and it's got those stickers inside, like if you've bought an Apple iPhone, you know what I'm talking about, those stickers. That's cool in a way, but also it would be so much cooler, wouldn't it, if instead of those stickers you opened up and you're like, oh, no stickers, and then you read this wee piece of information. It's like, because you bought this iPhone, you've now owned this unique token that represents this purchase, and it's artistic and it's cool, it's fun, it's a cool thing to have, and you have it, and it's yours, it's unique, and you can keep it forever, you can do what you like with it. Would be so much cooler, I think, than having yet another sticker which I keep for some months and then eventually stick in the bin. Right? That would be so much cooler. Straight up for any company in the world. Headline thoughts. Secondly, with the implications that has for being able to actually distribute a sufficient number of these, given that there's the really, really high probability, it seems, lol, that GME is actually being shorted so much to the extent that there's actually more shares out there being held by people in brokers accounts across the world, which then there actually are in existence for the company. And therefore, some of those people, well, they think that they own the real one because that's what they're being told, in effect, by their broker. They actually don't. Incidentally, there's also people out there who have been told in the past, and they know it's for sure that they do own the real one, but then they've had their shares taken, you know, on their behalf, because they've got an account with a broker that uses this rehypothecation margin method to then lend their share to somebody else. So they actually don't have a real share. They owned one at one point, but then it was lent to somebody else, possibly because that person needed it and they also had bought one, and it's just this big cycle where it keeps getting passed around. So the NFT idea, in the sense that it's unique, would be awesome. One little thing about it is that, then, in that sense, that I'm curious, because it would be kind of cool in a sense, if you got your NFT and it said to you how long you'd owned your shares for, right? Now, these are the types of ideas that don't necessarily come up in any other conversation that I've ever seen somebody talking about. Instead, it's very much surface level stuff where they say could be NFT, that could F up the system, make it so shorts need to cover, price goes up, and I'm sitting there thinking, cool, but I'm actually interested in the NFT. I actually want to open up an NFT and look at it in my account, and it'd be like, hey, yeah, you're a GameStop owner. You've owned GameStop since 2020. Well done. You've owned GameStop since 2020. That's amazing. I want it to say that on there, right? Because they could, or they could say your serial number is, and I wouldn't care if it's mega high. I wouldn't care at all. It would be amazing, in fact, if it was like even higher than than other reported figures somehow, like just through the sheer honesty of blockchain. That would be amazing if it was super high. And they said, yes, here's your NFT. You are shareholder Rocky Outcrop. You own shares, and you have got this NFT to say that you are amazing for having held them since this long. You can check, you can open up as a smart NFT, and it says you've been holding your shares for 296 days now. Well done. That would be awesome. These things are possible in NFTs. So an NFT is a digital piece of art. Essentially, whether art is that word, okay? What is art? Art is to arting as fart is to farting, okay? Right? Sure, but what is art, right? And this is a digital piece of art. Anything could be. It's unique and it's creative, and we're all here experiencing this. And we know that even if this was just the GameStop logo, that they are in an artistic sense, that this has gone so much more beyond, and it represents an ideal from within the culture of this community, and that's in effect art in and of itself, regardless of the content. So that would be amazing to see happen for us, and that's what an NFT is. So then again, I suppose after having kind of expressed those little ideas, to circle back around again to what the people are talking about, the conversation that goes along with it is along the lines of that they would need to release, that they're planning on launching this NFT on July 14th. Oh, there's my door. 1 second. It's a delivery, dude. What can you do? What can you do? And by the way, I notice those super chats coming in. I'm definitely not ignoring them. I'll get back around to reading whatever's inside them, and then I'll scroll through the messages and check and see if I can see Bad Mama Jamma says he's waiting on the messages and everything. Perfect. Man, thanks so much. You're an awesome dude. So my door will knock in a second if they need to get me to sign something. Otherwise, they'll just leave it outside and leave, I suppose, and I'll go get it in a sec. So yeah. Oh, the surface level stuff. 14th of July is the possibility of this launch for the NFT. Now, that's what's written into the code of the NFT itself. The NFT has code. What does that mean for something to have code? Well, it's actually a smart contract, and I explained a lot of this yesterday. So if you're interested in the nitty-gritty of how these sorts of things work, we should leave you in a position where you're well placed to go off and do further research or understand the question that you would need to ask somebody who else understands these things better to get the right answer back for you, rather than having to ask what question to ask, So you can check that out in yesterday's episode. Hello? That delivery man obviously didn't eat his crayons this morning. If he buzzes again, then I'll have to go downstairs and let him in. It's amazing. This guy essentially is a professional, presumably at buzzing apartments and walking into them. That's a core component of his job. Didn't work because there's 2 doors downstairs. So he went in and then you just open up the next door, but he went in and got confused and went back outside and buzzed me again and says there's 2 doors. Yeah. Come on in. So will he knock on the door? I don't know. Yeah, so there's that surface, that thing. What was I trying to say there? Oh, aye. So yeah, there's this within the code for the NFT, because these things are digital and they're made with programming and codes and stuff. There's a launch date built into it. Now that can be in lots of different NFTs, etc. But they put it in there. They didn't need to put it in there, so they did, and that's kind of cool in a way. And there's a lot of that sort of stuff happens with GameStop where they didn't need to do it, but they did. Like they didn't need to take all the red out of their GameStop logo, but they did. So that and that could happen on July the 14th. But will it necessarily be like trying to be distributed to people then? No, not necessarily. No, because they would just have them, and then it would be a case of how they use them necessarily. Much in the same way as that my better quality camera for making my Google videos is right here in my hand. I mean, I have it, so you could say if its arrival date was July the 14th, does it necessarily mean that my quality of my videos has got better yet? No, not quite yet. I'm going to go look for this delivery guy. I'll be back in a second. There's no way he should have taken so long. So, thanks for sticking with me. Really appreciate it. Oh, by the way, if you're here and you haven't hit like yet, and you've just arrived in the last 5 minutes, I don't suppose I've really given you any reason to hit like, but I'd appreciate it. Right, yeah, so back to our chat. It's due to launch on the 14th of July. That's just baked into the code, just in the same way that my camera has arrived here and that other stuff that's been delivered isn't actually going to necessarily affect the quality of this video that I'm doing right now, even though it's all for making better YouTube videos. Just, you know, other things about it are that the SEC might have issues with the distribution of it. They were not pleased with the Overwatch way that it went last time. They have then... we've also seen other issues along the lines of not issues, but kind of sticks in the spokes of the catalyst for MOAS concept in terms of the whole underwriting process, and then the ability to give payment in lieu. All it really needs to happen is for them to decide that there's a nominal value for these things, and if they're forced to say what the value of it is, in order to make it so that payments in lieu can happen in some sense. To not disenfranchise the owners of a stock who are legitimately entitled to this thing, but for one reason or another, you know, I mean, we all know the reason, and it's illegal and blah blah blah, but there's plenty of other sort of legal reasons why maybe somebody might not get something that they're entitled to. So there's sort of protection built in there for the system, you know, and that's kind of been learned a little bit more since the overstock thing. But other issues include the oh, for fuck's sake. Other issues include things like me being a bit of an idiot. Seemingly that's a big issue. Let me just see if I'm even on screen anymore. Ah, cool. I made it back. Other issues include things like what I was even talking about. I'm trying to say something. It was like a threat to do with something. there are various threats that exist. Now, the camera fell over and it wiped my memory. There are other threats that exist, okay? But and that could obviously affect some of the dynamics with the distribution of it. Yes, for example, that there isn't a market for which these things, there isn't a market that exists for these things. So one of the big comparisons are between Overstock and how they did a crypto dividend and what could happen here. Now, the intentions were very clear. I mean, the guy that was doing it was actually proactively suing people for overshorting his company, etc. At the same sort of time, was very vocal and proactive about it in a way that, frankly, and with the greatest respect, probably smarter and better idea and very much more professionally handled by the people in the GameStop world at the minute, who are much more subtle and I still feel very clear in their intentions at times. However, not kind of running around going about stuff, just kind of being patient and everything. So great, with the full intention of not going up and coming back down again, like Overstock wanted to go up and didn't care if it came back down again. The guy himself sold during that period, that owned the company, as well, or whatever. I don't want to say something that's wrong there, so just forget I said that. And then instead, what we have here is a company, in my opinion, that actually wants to go on to be one of the biggest companies in the world and is proactively working towards that goal. And we're just the lucky ones that have got a really compelling reason to get involved in it, but I'm not selling it anyway. So that type of thing. And so what he did, the guy that set that up, is he set up an exchange as well. It was a pretty much wholly owned subsidiary company that set up a crypto exchange in advance of the dividend release. And then, of course, the way that you claimed it was that you had to go onto that exchange to get it. And then, of course, they had worked out the value of what the perceived value on average of a customer joining their exchange would be, and then they thought, well, this is a really great way to get loads more money for the company and grow our exchange. And of course, as well, laterally, then they sold off the exchange because it wasn't very good and they weren't making much money off of it, and it wasn't, so it's like little kind of like little aspects of it in terms of the overt, obvious public bitterness from the CEO of Overstock at the time, the subsequent selling of the shares by the same guy, the subsequent selling of the exchange itself, the clearly publicly documented intention in order to achieve growth of their exchange at the time, off the back of the exploitation, and I'm just using that word in terms of, or the utilization of this NFT, or it wasn't an NFT, crypto dividend. Great, cool. So we understand there's a lot of distinctions there. There's potential threats for it, and as well, my overriding excitement about the potential possibilities that they could do, even if it had zero value in terms of anything happening in the world. If for me personally, I was able to open up my my account, look at my NFT, and for it to say to me, well done for owning GME since 2020, that type of thing, right? That type of thing would be yes, fantastic, without any necessarily further follow through. I want to see a really good quality dividend as well. I certainly do not want an NFT dividend in lieu of a cash dividend if it's going to be based on some entirely speculative value proposition alone. Alone. If it had a minimum value, redeemable value within the shop, great. Now, for me personally as well, I think it's probably worth finishing up this particular conversation with the NFT thing by saying that from the very first instance, when somebody said NFTs and GameStop, they didn't say cryptocurrency, which is typically traded on an exchange with a number, in the same way that we look at GME share prices and see the share prices. NFTs aren't traded that way. It doesn't happen. That's not a thing. So when somebody said to me NFT for GameStop, the first thing that I thought of, while I already know about Overstock, etc., and what happened in the past, the first thing in the knowledge of that I thought of when that was said to me, NFT from GameStop, was, that's awesome. These guys sell games. NFTs are unique, collectible. Games are collectible. you could attach it to a game. You could attach it to any product that they have. It's modern. It's innovative. They sell stuff. They probably got Pokemon cards and everything at their till, at their point of sale. They could have their own stuff. It's super amazing. It could be another revenue source. It could be all sorts of things. Those are the first thoughts that I had about it. My first thought wasn't, wow, this could be a catalyst for MOAS. My first thought was, wow, I love this company. And I think that is all the distinction that I personally need to focus on or care about. That's the NFT thing. Right, cool. So then there's other things. I don't want to miss them. We talked about that for too long probably already. It's now 2:30. The markets are open. Thanks very much for tuning in. See TradeSpot is here. No doubt you'll be starting a stream soon in a minute as well, Jamie. So I'll be sure to give you a shout out. Somebody subscribed. Thank you so much, because you're an amazing person, says Kim. That's really awesome. Thank you so much for that, with the green heart as well. Space Monkey donating $4.99 just because you rock. Thanks so much. Matt Rodriguez donated $10 through Super Chat. Rocky and TradeSpot are two of the best in the space. Thank you. Rocky, I have a crypto address that I wanted to gift to you. rockyoutcrop.crypto. Take care and thank you for everything. Thanks, man. Quality. Party Puppy as well chucked in a $5. Just chipping in a little for your pint fund, Rocky. Thanks for everything. Pint and blowy kiss. Thank you so much. And then I'm just going to scroll back through the chat a wee bit here and see if I've not missed anything super crucial, because, oh, by the way, good to see you, Matthew. Really great to see you. Thanks so much, man. You're a great guy as well. Fantastic to see you in there. Just giving you a shout out. Who else do we have? By the way, if you ever see me not giving you a particular shout out, I don't ignore it. There's not a single person in this chat. Legitimately, there's not one single person in this chat that I would intentionally not say hello to. Honestly, for example, good to see you out there, Mr. Bond. So, there isn't anybody. Brady Pearl as well. Fantastic to see you as well. It's great to see you. Nice to see you, matey. Nice one. Lovely plucker. Hey, that's it, man. There you are. Lovely _plucker. You turned it into a username as well. Good to see you, buddy. Right, so I'm just going to scroll up here. Bad Mama Jama, right? Ocean is asked a member. Ocean McCall, new member. Do you have a link to the source for the NFT, and I will take a look at it? Well, yes, nft.gamestop.com is the easiest way to get that. And if you do want to see, and I'll just show you real quick, and I appreciate there's a delay there, so everybody's going to be wondering for a wee while why I put that in the chat, but you'll see now that's why I pasted that in there. If you scroll down here, you can see the actual contract address of the NFT. You can copy that, paste it. You can go on into see it on Etherscan, and as well how to understand Etherscan. I mean, there must be tons of this. There's deciphering transactions, Etherscan. There's like tons of, this is something that's now been around for several years, and people have looked into, just for numerous reasons, innumerable reasons, the details of these sorts of things. So you can find out lots of information. Absolutely. $203 at the minute currently on GME. Did pull back down a bit. If pre-market was trading at 214, which was reported to me before we went live, but I couldn't see it on my charts for whatever reason. Who cares? Maybe I'm just being dumb. I think I might just be being stupid with that one, by the way, but I'm not sure. Brain's not working. Yeah, great. Higher lows overall on GME. Perfect time to see this turn around. If we could be so obliging, that would be lovely. I would love to see the classic down here with a low and a lower low here, which was then bullishly divergent, followed up by higher lows overall in the overall schema. While what we're looking for is to have this kind of thing happen like that, where we get to see the prices turn around. That would be absolutely wonderful. Bearing in mind as well throughout this entire period of time, there's loads of wicks in here where you can see the prices going up and pulling back down the way. So what we need to do is really do start to confirm higher. The fact that we haven't put in higher highs really overall isn't massively concerning when the prior times that we put in highs, they'd all just been wicks, etc., and rejection from that zone. So I'm looking to see if we get something that's actually more confirmatory. And the 200 simple at this stage is now pushed up towards $230. So that's where it's going to be, 230 or so as well come Monday. So it's still that 230 zone that we're looking to. I'm saying 22222 because when you look at the price point for 22222, it does seem to be like a pivot, but it's kind of arbitrary in a sense. But you can see that does seem to be a pivot. But it's probably worth pointing out as well that if you're going to be like, super strict about things, the fact of the matter is that 200 simple is actually coming up towards that area where you'd say, hey, closing up there is clearly more positive than closing here, where it's not taking out necessarily all of those peaks. That's obviously taking out all of the peaks, and that's what you want to see. So I would just be positive on it and kind of hope for that overall. If today's price action can drive us up towards the our prior highs, which are only at 215 now, then the chances of us being able to take out one of these highs and put in a higher high is so there. It's there, right? So the previous high is actually at 222, so this is why I want to see us taking out that one, because if you are looking at this from the point of view of having a low followed by a high, followed by a higher low, and unfortunately then a lower high, then this is a higher low here. Can we take this out? Taking out 215, significant. Taking out 222 is a good deal more significant. And then if we have to come back down the way and do that, then afterwards that's fine. Indeed, if we have to go up towards, if we go up and then back down here, whatever, that's totally fine. I'm looking to see something up here. That would be fantastic. And in the meantime, just going to wait and see, because I know that there's no real selling volume. That when the prices drop down, it's because there was a bid at this price here. And then later on, there's a bid at this price here, and of course, this price being lower or whatever, and it's just and you can see that there's a lack of volume, so the prices aren't being pushed by bidders and askers, or actually, well, by market takers. Instead, the prices are being pushed around, if you like, by market makers as opposed to market takers. I'm not saying anything massively profound there. There is a massive overlap in terms of the language that we use. Nice one. So that was that. Did Bad Mama Jamma, can you just stick it in again? Sorry, because there's a lot of chat there and I don't want to read all through it again. If you're still there, and if you're not, whatever, but if you're there and somebody asks questions and they've got like somebody cashing in on those tokens, then be sure write it in again if somebody did. If nobody did, then that's cool. It's cool. Backup Bump says, that sounds cool. So it's not tied to my broker. So if my broker goes FBAR, I have proof of ownership. Or if it's in a game, it's not locked to Steam or an Origin or the same way. Yeah, that's right, man. That's right. That's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. Now, obviously, GameStop doesn't own the rights to the games. It's not like it's going to be able to be the single distributor of the original games, but or whatever, like EA Sports, and just like they take over and that. But they could easily set up partnership agreements and operate it for them. They're really well positioned. If all of these guys, if EA were like, oh, we're going to start doing this, it would be the same process, right? You can imagine a webpage, nft.ea.com, right? And the page just the same with a little kind of animation and a contract address. We're hiring. You can imagine it, right? If you were looking at EA doing that, you wouldn't think, oh, this is going to cause a short squeeze on their stock. No, what you're thinking is, this is incredibly innovative. EA have done this before anybody else. Well, what if GameStop did it before EA or Activision or Blizzard or any of the other game manufacturers and went to them and says, we'll just handle it for you and run the licensing? That would be amazing. What if they went out and bought the rights to the NFT or agreed a licenseship agreement with the likes of Unreal, or whoever it was, Steam, and Labs, Valve, right? What if they did it with Valve? What if they did it with Steam and then made it so that, of course, you buy games, you can get this NFT, etc. But we're going to sell NFTs for Half-Life with an associated card at our tills. So if you come to our tills buy a game, you can buy for $5.99 a unique pack of different images from the Half-Life world, with the official Valve logo on there, in agreement with them as the exclusive distributor of them, and they're unique and collectible forever. What would be wrong with that idea? What would be wrong with that idea in any way whatsoever? And how would that in any way not be positive for the stock and the prices and the value of the company? at all, you know? So for me personally, I just see it as being innovation. Every single use case for it is innovative and positive, every single one. I challenge anybody to come to me with a negative use case for it. The only one that I can think of would be you could deliberately set up a website called nft.gamestop.com. You could do it, and then you could get everybody to believe that it's going to go out there as a distribution on a dividend, and then not do it, and then people get upset. That's the only major threat. The only major threat. Of course, I listed a couple others earlier on. Only major threat from this thing, right? Yes. So, Bavash, good to see you there, my friend. Nice to see you, Supernova. Yay. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So, we also got thanks for everything. We love you from Michael E. Thank you so much. I love you too, man. Thank you. It's really appreciated. We've got Tico in there to take, for example, Rarible. It's an Ethereum based. Oh, we've got somebody who knows what they're talking about here. By the way, of course, there's at least. While they're not all in the Discord, okay, and while they're not all here in every live stream, okay, there's 2,000 subscribers to the Rocky Outcrop YouTube channel who subscribed off the back on the basis that, you know, I just do good TA and talk about crypto and an expert in crypto, and they were coming along looking at cryptocurrency TA. So there's a lot of people out there who are very, very, very familiar, and they could be, you know, degrees of separation wise much closer than maybe even you think here. So for instance, we've got, take for example, Rarible. It's an Ethereum based NFT marketplace which has their own Rari token which you can use to buy and sell NFTs. I believe GME is doing similar and will use GME coin as a dividend. So, you know, there's somebody out there, not actually from the previous sort of 2,000 subscriber thing, but anyway, still saying similar sort of stuff. You know, you can use Rari coin to buy NFTs on Ethereum on Rarible. Rarible certainly started off with just selling them on Ethereum. That's right. Then they did launch their own one as well. That's right. They did. So they've got that. Anyway, GME coin. Be very clear on this. GME coin would be a cryptocurrency and is therefore not nft.gamestop.com. Those are two different things. If GameStop decided to release a car and give a car to everybody who was a shareholder, and they said, this is a car, we're getting car manufacturers in, have you ever worked on cars before? Are you into cars? Was their whole thing. Here's our car address, apply using your car, right? Etc. For or whatever. They wouldn't set up a website called motorcycle.gamestop.com, right? Or would they? I don't think they would. So just to be very clear on that. Right. No, but you know, who knows, right? Who knows? Just be aware. Observe thyself. Real artists can benefit greatly from NFTs because no matter how many times they're traded, the original artist will get proceeds. There's a beautiful concept right there. Well done, Christy, for pointing that one out. Observe thyself. Sorry, I should probably not dox you all the time. Yes, you're right. Yes, you're right. It's really fantastic that to be able to pass the value chain, you know, back the way like that. Fantastic. Bad Mama Jama says at Jack Bell. So the name started with MW2 came out, stuck with it. Aha, aha, aha. You're talking about Bad Mama Jama. He's a bad Mama Jama. Is my gamer tag. Lol, some kid told me I was a bad Mama Jama back in the GoldenEye days. Nice one. Nice one. Well, you are. Have you ever listened to the song, by the way? Go check out the song. It's a good song. You know, that's where I thought you got the name from. Cool to know the story. Ocean's chatting with Tracebot, and in there he says, if you convert a param launch date from unit to timestamp, it's not just a date. There is a time on the 14th it corresponds to. Of course there is, right down to the very second, down to the minute. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going with second, but you said minute. Not sure I should post here. Yeah, man, you should post the time. Post the time. Post it. Who cares? I mean, it's already out there, isn't it? The information. I assumed it would be. The way that times work, by the way, for people who are interested in it is every single second that's gone by seconds, right? It's not minutes, it's seconds. Every single second that's gone by since like 1970, which is why there was that whole well, interesting stuff. It's an interesting stuff anyway. So your Unicode time thing is the amount of seconds that have gone by since some date back in 1970, which is cool. So lol, Opera needs to go public. Yep, she needs to go public. She's so goddamn rich. Champ Eon says, Rocky, would you please explain to me why the FTDs are so low if there are supposed to be so many synthetics for out there? Love you and Jamie. Yeah, it's a bit of a problem, that one. I don't really know. The most simple answer for it, if you look into the detailed research that some people have done who are good at doing the DD out there, the ones who I recommend kind of stick to doing that sort of thing. I'll stick to doing technical analysis. I'll not try and get too detailed on any sort of due diligence stuff or whatever, or try and, that like that, because there's lots of really great experts out there doing stuff like that. There was a post I saw recently on Superstonk, I think it was, where they're talking about what do you call it, about the FTDs and how they've used publicly available information to go back and to top them all up. And it looks like there's like, I don't know, on their chart it looked like minus, like they're like that the stock amount had gone down to like minus 4 million or something like that. I'm not really sure, right? I wasn't looking in great detail because like I don't really operate on that. I mean, I'm just looking at the charts, looking for a cup with handle to play out. Essentially that's what's going on with me here, and then I'm just going to keep going and keep going, relying naively or not on the expertise and good intentions of others within the community. Maybe that's naive. It probably is. I mean, on the face of it, sounds it. But anyway, there's the data that you see on websites like Fintel is supposed to be the total number of outstanding FTDs. And there you go. I mean, that's it. It's a faith. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you, man. It's just it's a faith-based thing. It's like, is it real or not? I know. Is it real or not? Who knows? But you're right, though. It's supposed to be the total number. So if that number goes down to 5,000, then the total number is supposed to be 5,000, and that's all the outstanding shares. And that, of course, would be cleared out in a day, and it wouldn't be a big deal. Which is why the number changes up and down so much every day, because it isn't a big deal, and it just looks like normal business stuff. So I mean, like, that's the reality of it, man. I mean, like, that's why I don't bother looking too much into all this detail. I leave it for other people to do, because like if you just go on the headline figures and believe what's out there, then there isn't a short squeeze happening on any of these stocks, right? So I'm not going to, and then you have to then go and look into all the extra detail, and I'm not bothered, not going to. I mean, there's a guy at the minute who's out there who's chatting about, who likes to talk a lot about how AMC is just a play where Citadel and the likes of them are long. I've talked about that on the channel myself as well a couple of times. I don't know if they're long or short on it. I don't know overall. I mean, I've looked at some of their filings, and you can see that they're reporting long figures and stuff and whatever else. You can see it all there. But I don't know if they're more long than they are short, etc. I don't know if they're just doing it as a small term play where they hope to ultimately just like be able to get back at a cost average basis and break even on their short position and make some sort of small trades long in the meantime. I don't know. I don't know any of it. There's a lot of experts out there who spend hours and hours and hours dedicating their time to that. So awesome, Bad Mama Jamma. Awesome, Bad Mama Jamma. So what did you just say? Can you talk about the new CEO and why he gets the $1.6 million in shares, and what can that do? Okay, cool, no problem. Well, first off, he is owed by the company $16.5 million worth of shares. That is at the time. I mean, we read this on their on that thing that they put out recently with their on the earnings report, and they talked about the back then, and they right, wasn't it? When they talked about when they announced the guy, Furlong. Will he be the CEO for long? We were joking about it. Furlong, that's what he's called. How long will he be the CEO, Mr. Furlong? And they have 30 days after the time of the appointment, the average price. So was that ending today? Was that July the 1st that it ended on? Or whatever, the average price of it. So in order so if we go back 30 days, was it from then? I should really know. But I don't have access to that. Let me just go 21 days back. So anyway, average price. So the average price, if I go back 30 days roughly, then the average price is like 220s. Yeah, it's going to be about 220s, 230, 233, 230. Yeah, so 227. So like this, in this entire time, the average price has been about 228. The chances of the prices pushing away much further than the 220 area, you know, 22222. If you really like to talk about numbers that are the same, like I do, I find it fascinating to go $222.22. $230 if you're going to be more of a sort of stickler about numbers or whatever. The average price that they're going to have to get, sorry, they are getting $16.5 million worth of stock, and it looks to be that the average is going to be sorry, the CEO is getting at what the other guy was. The other guy, who was the other guy again? What executive role did they give him? I can't remember. Oh, chief finance officer, wasn't it? He gets $10.5 million worth. So if you go over to the calculator, $16.5 million, 16.5 million, right? So, oops, divided by 230 means that he's going to be given 71,739 shares. Now, he isn't giving them all at once. He's given them, and there is what's known as a vesting period, okay, where they are locked and he's not able to access them. So he gets access to like some after a wee while. What does it really mean? Beyond that, I'm not too sure what the question is, because I know that there's chat going around that there's some sort of that somebody somewhere has derived some additional meaning from this. I'm not sure what it is on the face of it. There's a few things that I was talking about when we were talking about that document that they put out as to whether or not it would be within their interests, of course, to keep the prices high, but are stable throughout that period of time, so that they would have, you know, a degree of reliability about what they're doing. And it's obviously within the CEO's interest at this stage to make it so that when he signed up for the job and they said, we will give you $16.5 million worth of shares, and he was like, brilliant, $16.5 million worth of shares, that's great, when do I get them? And they said, not immediately, you don't get them immediately. That he'd be like, oh, right, well, it's within my interest then to actually be a good CEO and make it so that these things are worth the money, and that's great. So, I mean, but beyond that, I don't really know where it is. Same thing for the chief finance officer, $10.5 million. You know, if the price of the shares go down to being $20, say they go down to being $20, then what you have there is times 20, right? So then, equals. Equals? Is that changing anything? It's not, is it? Times 20 equals. Yeah. So his bonus, which is meant to be 16.5 million, would go down to being 1.43 million. Right? That would suck, wouldn't it? That would suck. If you'd agreed to get $16.5 million from somebody, and then all you got was $1.5 million less than, that would suck, right? And if you're then also in charge of the company, you'd be like, that sucks that I've done such a crap job at keeping our share price so high. Beyond that, I really don't know what it is. I don't know what it could be. It's the sort of thing that people dig into loads and they come up with stuff. I don't know. I don't know. There's somebody out there who's read a lot of stuff recently out there about that sort of thing would maybe know. See you out there, Existential. How you doing, buddy? Message retracted. Message retracted. Existential. Message retracted. Hope you're doing well. Can you talk about that? Yeah, I did talk about that. Dober Mamba asked something earlier on as well. I was going to take a look at. It's the only thing that pops up when you try. Oh, I shouldn't have this page up. I should have some stocks up. We're at $201. Right. Okay. So what I'm really looking at this minute in time is the pivot of the prior low. You know, are we going to be able to bounce from here? I do want to see us bouncing from here. Suppose we should do a little bit. Okay. So we've pushed on down past that. That'd be hidden bullish divergence if we had it. Not got the negative momentum there. Still in chop territory on that one. So cool. So is the launch price $200? Is it the launch price $200? Like the guy in the DD said. I mean, we're there. This could easily be it. This could easily be it. The risk of us coming back down to $200 was always there. We're still at the point where we're not setting in a lower low. There's 34 minutes left. So does this hour, does that make it so that we could really be looking at that as being Possibility. Yep, 15-minute time frame as well. It's not like we need to, you know, sorry, on the 15-minute time frame, we can see as well that we're also not putting in a lower low. So I just dropped down. So what I was doing there a second ago is I was looking at this in the 1 hour time frame and saying, oh, could we be able, are we on the way, you know, and then I looked over and said, oh, there's 35 minutes left on the candle, 34 minutes left. And I thought to myself, well, in that case, if we do exactly as we just did there now in that split second as I was talking, and go down and wick down so that our wick is as low as the body is over there, then it might be helpful to look over here in the 15-minute time frame and see how things stack up as to this pivot point just here. So that's what my thought process was there, although I didn't say it out loud until after the fact. And we're obviously down at that price where we had this big volume coming in at. So we're looking to see at the moment, are we going to push down past that zone or not? Right now, you know, no. Like, is there anything to say that we definitely will? I mean, that's obviously a strong 15-minute negative strength of trend there. But is that the 40 line could easily turn around from here? It normally does. It's where it kind of turned around from last time. Did push a little bit lower and get a bit of the old bullish divergence on that final low, as it happens on the DMI. Are we going to have a bit of that on this one as well? Yeah, we are. Brilliant. So if we pull back up from this area here, that's the low for the day. Boom. Nice. Nice. Mwah. Nice. If we pull back up from here in the next 15 minutes, then I'm confident enough to say that that's the low of the day. Okay. I mean, that's a bit, that's quite extreme. Peter Brandt, strong opinions, weekly held. Okay. So that's my strong opinion. I'm more than happy to hold it weekly. Okay, I'm more than happy to hold that weekly, but it looks to me that that's going to be the low of the day at the minute. I'll change my mind should, of course, the minds be getting changed. Don't remember I said something earlier on, but I'm sorry, man. I'm going to just skip on past C. Rocky Outcrop, I really enjoy when you talk about market fundamentals and structure changes and digi-currency knowledge. You're great at clarifying misconceptions that apes need to know. Boom! Fantastic, Existential. Man, thanks so much. Really appreciated. Great comment. Thanks so much, man. That's fantastic. I'm flattered. All right, observe thyself. Haha. D Savvy, good morning. Good morning, D Savvy. Hope you're doing well. Let's just see here. Existential had a question but didn't want to spread possible FUD. Sigh, Rocky, if you only knew. Oh, Jeepers Creepers. It's about their algo. I wonder, wait, is that about what though? I wonder. It's tough, right? You don't want to spread FUD. You got a question. It might not be. You can ask a question, man. I'm sure it'll be fine. I don't know. Whatever. It seemed to be at the start that everybody just liked talking about ups and handles, cups and handles. I wonder if their algo picked up on that and all those cup and handles that are not systemic, but perhaps the algo since March. Like I feel like you're speaking in a code there. They are so perfect, every chart, etc. I don't know, man. Wonder, but like cup with handles, it could easily be. It could easily be that. You know, it could easily be that. If you're just saying that straight up as I think you are, then it could easily be that. I don't remember Kyle saying asked if they were to announce a dividend, does that have to be done when the market is closed? The announcing of the dividend have to be done when the market's closed? No. Nope. Ashley Lem, I don't think so. Correct me if I'm wrong, but no, that doesn't have to be when the market's closed. Nah. They're so perfect. Every chart, etc. Yeah. Oh, that was that same chat. Boom, says Mining Boom. Yeah, nice one. Simon, I've got all my savings, my pension, my wife's pension, all in GME. Oh, well, what about your wife's boyfriend? Is he invested yet? No point in putting all your pension in your thingy and not at least asking your wife's boyfriend to chip in a wee bit too. Katie Babes, Simon, don't put in anything you can't afford to lose. That's probably what I should have said instead. It's the truth of it. Buddy, the thing about it is, if you put in what you can afford to lose, then you're able to diamond hand it no matter what, right? So if you put in something and you think to yourself, heck, in many senses, I've already lost this money, then that is it. That's a diamond ticket on the moon ship, you know? Diamond ticket on the moon ship. When you put in more money than you can afford to lose, it does mean that you're unfortunately going to have to add selling pressure somewhere along the way because, you know, straight up, you can't afford to lose it. You can't afford to lose it probably means that as time goes by, you need that money, you know, to pay a bill, a doctor's bill, a dentist bill, vet bill, whatever, electricity bill. Something will happen. So just don't. So anyway, so cool that you can read the future and you've already have the chapters for this stream in the description. Yes, that's right. That or YouTube lets you just go reuse stream settings. By the way, so I just reused yesterday's stream settings. I don't have my chapters in there, but you can check out yesterday's video. It's got chapters. I try to put chapters in. You know how long it takes to put chapters in? Too long. Too long, but I do it anyway. AB Lopez, hey. Good to see you, AB. Team Pokerus, I agree, man. I don't know why people are tripping. They haven't covered yet. This is a short squeeze. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's basically it, right? You know, so there we go. I mean, the numbers of the FTDs would indicate that they had, in a sense, but, you know, you can borrow a share, close off your FTD from somebody, and then just roll it over by opening up another options contract, stuff like that. So we've talked about these little ways of getting around things, but ultimately it comes down slightly to whether down to whether or not you believe the numbers that are being reported. At this point, you can see as well 50-minute time frame still on the charts. This little candle here is looking green. So I'll just make it like that so that if we see things changing, it's pretty obvious. Tracy, does market close the day at 2? I don't know. Somebody tell me. Does market close the day at 2? That would suck. Right. Okay. Hey, I find it interesting that euros are very into the questions instead of the answers. Man, euros. Man, I don't know. I don't understand that. I don't understand. Sorry, man. Maybe I'm being thick about something. Tom Pokeras, that's interesting. Mining Boom is chatting. All right, good to see you, Quee. Holding as long as Citadel's in business. Yeah, cool, nice one. That's a positive. That's a positive attitude right there. Well, not necessarily a positive attitude. I mean, obviously people could take exception to that. It's a determined attitude, though. Dan Wildo, Rocky, did you get any ground covered with Houston Wade? I'd love to hear the pair chew the positives and even some negatives from our adventures in finance. I did, you know. I said on Twitter yesterday, how do I get in touch with Houston Wade? Obviously, I don't want to see that candle dropping down there, right? By the way, that's obvious. This is happening. I've got it in my peripheral vision. I'll chat about it if there's big changes. Okay, obviously, this is early doors on this 15-minute candle here. Yeah. Wait. Oh, right. I'm just confused, existential, as I read that. I'm reading so much comments at once, and I'm trying to pay attention out the corner of my eye. So I'm just confused, man. Thanks for putting your comments in there, though. I'll not just read over it again though this second while this is all happening. I want to see what happens, right? I want to see what happens. I'll just bring up this chart, this area, so you can see in terms of it's not the end of the world. You know, it's not the end of the world if things change or whatever. 5-minute time frame, you can see in terms of body closures, it pushed all the way down to the. We know this because we lived it and we watched it at the time, right? So we remember the prices being down there. But I'm looking at this just for simplicity's sake over here in the 15-minute time frame and saying that I don't want to see prices dropping down below that area just there. So I'll just stick that on for now, just to make it easier to see as we're kind of looking at this a la stress. Now, of course, I'm looking for this to turn out to be the best buy price of the day. That's what I'm looking at this, hoping to see. This is quite clear, but obviously this is in the face of you know, it's red, right? Okay, I'm not blind. Ladyfingers, it's so much easier to hold the stock when you change the mentality to, excuse me, so much easier to hold the stock when you change the mentality to it's money you've already lost, because then when you find that $30 million bill in your winter jacket this summer, yeah, exactly, Bill, for people in the US or for the people in the UK watching along, they mean note essentially or whatever, not Bill as in a guy with as in a duck with a hat on, but Bill as in pound note, dollar bill, right? So yeah, when you find that $30 million bill in your pocket, damn right, Ladyfinger Smith. If you think about things as already having lost the money, then you know you're more emotionally detached in a sense from that sort of process. But that's the emotional side of thing as well. If you consider you've already lost the money and then you look at your upcoming bills and you think, oh, that's a problem, well then maybe you need to adjust sort of your ratios that you're using there. Houston's amazing. Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about. Houston, wait, yeah. So I was talking. So somebody said it stream yet. I tweeted out, how do I get in touch with Houston Wade? Somebody put his Twitter handle in a reply. I then got a reply as well from Houston Wade saying something positive, like "Let's do this," or "I'm game," or "I'm up for it," or "Ready when you are," something like that, right? Something like that. And so then I sent him a direct message saying, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" And time zones and me doing this right here, right now, mean that we are got 8 minutes on this one. Means that we are just going to have to kind of figure it out over time. But yeah, there's a bit of traction there. He seems to be up for it. Definitely. When ambo. It ambos now. The time is now. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, so anyway, he seems to be game, saying yes. I'm saying yes. We're all saying yes. Positivity all around. And yeah, it'd be great to do that. Now, of course, as well, by the way, full disclosure and all that. I've said on the channel in the past, I dislike the way that people say not really positive things about stuff, and then if it doesn't happen, then people get negative, and I wish people would stop saying it and stuff like that. Right? I've talked about that. I've been really transparent about that the entire time. And then somebody said to me on Twitter, I hope it's to go on there and tell him to stop saying this unfounded BS or whatever like that. And I get the sentiment. Right? I get it. Of course I do. But the thing about it is that we're in a world where everything we say is potentially unfounded. I mean, I just spent 5 minutes talking about how there is the FTD's positions that get the number of them that get reported by these sort of intelligence data agencies operating on behalf of the exchanges, etc., or the DTC, etc. is you can't trust the information that comes out. So it's the same sort of thing. It's like, here's me saying that there are them, and who knows necessarily. I don't trust the data, so I'm saying it, but somebody else could come along and say, you can't say stuff like that. That's getting people's hopes up. So it depends on perspective. We all fall foul to that type of thing from time to time, and I would have to admit that there's obviously a degree of my own participation and all that sort of stuff. And also as well, I'm not there to be a negative guy. I mean, the guy's really, really nice guy. He's really freaking genuinely decent, stand-up nice guy. And he's just trying, and he's talking about stuff that he's positive and that he believes in. So I don't have a problem with it. I actually don't have a problem with it. So that's probably important for that one person that said that to say. But even if one person says something like that, then I'll address it anyway, because you never know. It could be representative of other people. Who knows? So why not, right? Kitty Babes, any chance of a holiday drinking stream this weekend? American Apes, love Scots. Yeah, Jamie and I am in negotiations with Jamie about a drinking stream this weekend. There is a chance. Just to say that there's a chance. Is there a really solid chance? It's 50-50. The thing about it is partly is that my mum is here in the city, and she isn't always in the city, and I wanna not be completely dying of a hangover the day after getting completely tanked, which would be the day before that she would leave to then go away again, and then think, I should have just hung out with my mum for the day. So I'm not 100% sure. I might not do that because I might not. I just might not. Right? I might not. But then I might. It depends, because it could be the case that I could do this Saturday night, and everything could work out. So I'm looking at it. It won't be Friday. It wouldn't be a Friday. It would be Saturday, and that's what I'm looking at the minute. That's my current thing. So I'm kind of thinking about it. Obviously kicking around a bit below this line at the minute. Stressful in a sense, but not too much. Aye, mum's in town. That's all it is, Oh, you're a mummy's boy. Aye, whatever, eh? I love my family. One day you might not have your family, and then you'll be wishing that You'll be wishing that you had hung out with them. So no problem with me. Houston's just getting used to the live YouTubes. He seems genuine. Yeah, exactly. So what's happening there is having a conversation with his friend, and his friend happens to be, you know, an audience of 3,000 or 4,000 people, and there would be me thinking like, oh no, don't say that just to get the audience, and don't do these things just to do that, because if you build up their hopes and all you're doing is just trying to grow your YouTube channel, that's not good. That's the sort of my initial take on it. But actually, you know, looking at it a bit closer and just seeing that the guy's a nice guy, and that it's just a guy having a conversation with his friends. You know, it's what it is. You know, he's a smart, intelligent, nice guy having a conversation with his friends, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, that's what it boils down to. You know, that's all it is. So yeah, Kyle Brown, get mum involved. Jeepers, griefers. Yeah, see Epiphany Jones jumping in there. Hang out with your mum. Exactly. Yeah, it's all good. So I think everybody gets it. The MMs can reset the FTDs in put contracts. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Look at the options chain. Last I looked, there was 100 million shares accounted for in low strike price put contracts. See, so that's exactly right. So you're sort of like, you're kind of clearing out the FTD so it doesn't appear on its headline figure, but of course it is still an FTD. Because somebody out there in the world has an FTR and they don't report the FTR numbers, and FTDs become FTRs. A failure to deliver occurs at a time, and then it's the FTRs. But then again, who knows about how they report all these things and all that stuff? So whatevs. Tom Richter, don't have my mum any longer, miss her. So there we go. So I think Tom's probably also sending out some support for us there as well in that idea. So we'll see how it goes. Depends. If she's away off on Sunday morning or whatever anyway, and we won't be hanging out anyway, then I'll get rat-arsed on the Saturday and it won't be a problem. You know, that sort of thing. Happy July 4th to all. Oh yeah, this is American. Wait a minute. No, I suppose I'll say it then. Happy Independence Day, even though it's not Saturday the 3rd, Sunday the 4th. So it'll be Sunday the 4th. And I might not be here doing any YouTube stuff. So yeah, wow, happy Independence Day is coming up. Can't wait. Great movie. Harry Buckcheats, hey buddy, it doesn't matter where you buy. It doesn't matter where you buy, just so long as you buy, I guess going to 1 million. Woo, look at that. 156 left on it. The drama, The drama. Ladyfinger Smith, didn't we read somewhere they're trying to close price below $200 for some puts, etc.? Is that right? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Absolutely. So this is why I'm waiting to see. You know, we're waiting for things to change, and in terms of like this here background showing us the complete lack of the strength of trend, etc. That's very much where we are right now with this one, you know, waiting for that to happen. As we have 1 minute 21 seconds left in here, and I wonder how many people in the audience were sat there thinking, I don't know, disastrous thoughts as I put this in. This is very zoomed in. Remember that whole chat, if in doubt, zoom out. Well, oh, door. Sorry, second. Hello. What is this? What is this? What is this? I think I know what this is. I'm going to open this up. A little bit confused about it because on the box it says manufacturer. Oh, that's where it was manufactured. Oh yeah, I know what this is. Pretty sure I know what this is. So anyway, how are we doing there? 12 seconds left, 10 seconds left. 9, 8, 7. It's not, you know, on a 15-minute candle. Doesn't really matter. We don't need to get too carried away here. Oh, and it turned green at the end. 2, 1. Oh, red. Oh well, close. Nice try. Almost got green there. So now, essentially, you can say that if we close, of course, below this line, that has significance in itself. This here price, could that be the best buy price of the day? It could be. Great stream so far, says Leslie. That's amazing. Thanks so much. Really very, very genuinely appreciated, because I'm after standing up and going and answer the door to the delivery guy, and I always kind of I wonder after I do stuff like that if I'm being off-putting to viewers, you know? I don't know, honestly. I don't know. I'm also have to say as well, I'm really super pleased to see the numbers in here at the minute. 350 people watching. This is up there in my best ever streams. Not everybody knows that because, well, you're just watching along. You don't look and see how many people are watching or anything else. But this is up there with my best ever streams. Open it, says Frostcrest. Yeah, got to open it. Stop talking about yourself, Rocky, and open up the goddamn box. We need to find out what's inside. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't know what this is, actually. I thought I knew. I thought I knew. But I didn't know. Wow, they've packaged it in such an ingenious way that it completely prevents somebody who's live on camera from being able to open it up. It's probably really simple. They're probably really simple for anybody who's not live on camera. But you know that feeling that you would have got back in the day in school when your teacher says to you, "How do you spell banana?" And you stand up and you start saying APPL just because the cameras are on you, or the light because like the attention's been drawn to you. Oh, I know what this is. Oh, that's disappointing. Well, it's not disappointing, but it's fine. I mean, I get it now. It's cool. I do remember what it is. It's not disappointing. It's just less cool than I'd hoped for. All right. I'll show you what it is. Right. It's this setup here where you get these brackets, right? And you pop them on the wall, and then you get these these roller jobbies, right? And it's like a blind that you put on a window, but instead of being a blind you put on a window, it is a green screen type thing that you put up behind you, or whatever you want. It's called it's a photo thing, a photography type thing. Well, I mean, like, I'm totally happy to have them, except at first, for some reason, I was holding it in my hand. I was like, oh, this could be my camera lens, in which case I'd actually be able to use this thing arriving. That'll arrive at some point today, or at least it should have. I mean, I paid for it to arrive at some point today. Rocky Aircrop, keep on keeping on. See, you're starting to get some traction. Yeah, I am. By the way, huge as well. Huge shout out. This stream is dedicated to all of you, right? Today it is. It's dedicated to all of you. I was saying that before. It still is. And it's dedicated to all of you. You know, the Jeff, the likes of yourself, and everybody. I mean, it's so unfair when I point out somebody in particular, because I can see all the names, every single name on that page right now in the chat box. Every single one of you is so massively appreciated. And here I am saying stuff, and occasionally it sounds like I'm totally despondent, and you're out there shoring up my self-esteem. Genuinely appreciated, by the way, because my self-esteem does need shored up from time to time, and you have done that, and it's amazing. And yeah, no, it's just that you deserve so much praise, you know, you really do. So that's why this stream is dedicated to all of you. I am getting a bit of traction, but it's all good, you know, it's all good. I find certain things curious about YouTube and how it works in terms of suggestions and finding new people to watch along. But at the same time, it's like, you know, whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's all good. You know, I'm here looking at people in there, and every single one of you is worth like so much. Like, it's unreal. Like, real people with your real lives, and you're choosing to be here when you could be doing anything else with your time, and you're here with me. Even if there's just one of you. All right. Anyway. Kitty babes. So that worked out fairly well. How about we take a look at AMC for a second and see how it's getting on, right? I'll just actually duplicate this one and bring it up on the on its own chart, because I want to leave the other one open just to flick back easier, and I didn't want to bring up on the 2-screen chart, and I wanted to have this going on. Oh. Okay, well, I mean, this is fine too. This would have been a similar sort of story that we were talking about. if I'd had them both up. Kind of regret not having them both up because it would have been less stressful for everybody watching along at the time to have seen them both, I guess, probably. With this line that I'd drawn on here for the purposes of just this little moment that we were living together with whether or not that could turn out to be the low in the day for GME. And then this box here as well. This box, which was drawn in, it was drawn in quite a while ago because you maybe on yesterday's stream, remember, I dragged it over to line up. Was that yesterday, the day before? I don't know, whatever. So it's not like drawn in like I did there for the GME one for in terms of the choosing something at the time. So I'm not going to say that this is necessarily perfect, but it certainly is representative. It will be representative of a zone. That's why I would have drawn it on. And here we have arrived at it. Okay, so yes, this is really kind of, still potentially everything that we spoke about before. What does this mean? Well, it maybe means in some senses that we've got a while yet still on this. Now, where I've spoken about, and it's intentional recently, I've spoken about about how you can get shaken out through sideways price action. Some of you as well chipped in with that chat during the chat at the time that we're having, and that was really cool. So this at this stage, then let's kind of acknowledge where the AMC what the AMC sort of situation is at the minute. If this is the case, and this lines up well enough as it stands right now, if this is the case, now this could easily not be the case, and this might be premature to say it, but I mean it when I say if. If this is the case, then the apex on this thing is going to be is like you want to look towards 75% of the way in, right? You want to look towards 75% of the way in. Well, that is 1,300 bars. What time frame is this? The 15-minute candle. Right, anyway, 1,300 bars. So 75% of 1,300. And all the people that are great at maths out there in the audience are like, oh, I know this one. And I'm going to just say, oh, that's about 1,000. And that's around about here. That's around about here. So that'll be around about, that's a couple of weeks after, it's a few weeks away. That's towards the end of the month. That's the 27th of July over there. So brilliant. Going to just take a look at that in a second. There's somebody dropped a tip in there. So we could be looking at this, kind of sticking this out for the month here, which sucks because it's the 2nd of July today. 2nd of July. Trading this as a trader, what I'd be doing is I'd be looking to try and trade the range. There'll be a lot of other people doing the same thing. Obviously, in terms of where we've come to right now, this is like the adequate move to make this whole thing okay, right? This is adequate. We talked about it yesterday, so we're totally forewarned, prepared for that knowledge. And we're living that life now. We're living that experience now, which does mean that for people who are looking to get the discounts, the sort of the 10% discounts, etc., they're getting them, and they're not unhappy about it. They're not unhappy about it, And this pattern kind of shows you that as well. Okay, so we can see that, I suppose, and you can see I didn't change where those boxes were or anything, but you can see that this is that kind of that positivity again. I've got it drawn in here as a zone. It's maybe worth pointing out the fact that this is just a line as opposed to a zone, but you could have easily have thought about this in the same sort of a way, right? Anyway, I'll get back around and talk a bit more of that in a wee minute or two. And by the way, as well to everybody out there, thanks so much for those hearts. It's just so freaking awesome. So awesome. These are the best. You're the best. You're the best. You're the best chat in the world. It's coming up towards 3:30 as well. I've been streaming for 1 hour and 52 minutes. So I'm gonna probably jump over and do a little cryptocurrency round the market look. I think most of the people here will have seen me do that sort of thing before. It lasts less than, it would be a surprise if it lasted enough time for me to make an advert, a video on YouTube that can have adverts in the middle of it. Right? It'd be a surprise. It probably lasts 5 minutes. Right, so if you want to learn something about cryptocurrency markets at the minute, purely on TA, just what are the charts, then keep watching. Otherwise, of course, as well, if you want to go make a cup of tea and come back in 5 minutes, then that's cool because we can catch up after that as well. Foliage Loft, that's quite a cool name, Foliage Loft. Long time lurker here. Thanks so much for all the great TA tips, Rocky. You're welcome. I've learned so much. Great to hear it. Big plant guy here as well. Plants. Love the huge dragon tree behind you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. They bring me a lot of joy, those things. Thanks so much. Quality. Super anxious about a 6-hour drive I've got to make today. Wish me luck, please. Good luck, Minner. Remember, when you make drives like that if you leave a little bit early, it buys you time to take a break. So make room for that. Pull over occasionally. Take breaks. And it's worth it. A 6-hour car journey is much better if it's a 6.5-hour car journey, half-hour car journey. And you know, in those little moments, that's when you can take your Wii, or you can change your radio station, and you can read your phone rather than trying to think, oh, my phone's buzzed 5 times 5 hours ago. You don't need me to tell you that. You don't need me to tell you that. I'm not your mum. Wish you luck, buddy. Reynaldo, wait. Hey, buddy. Drive safe, Minner. Wow, thank you so much. Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. Juro in there, spin the wheel. We know what he wants this weekend. Look, I'm negotiating. I'm going to try and negotiate for one. Excellent idea. You know what would be cool as well, though? Would be cool to have one, and you know, with can I speak words English? With people, more people. So I'll also send out feelers to a couple other people, you know, just see if they want to come on board with us and chill out as well. Not necessarily the entire time, but I think it's probably an idea that we could try. Right, sweet. Okay, 30 people tuned out and I mentioned that I was going to do the Bitcoin thing, so I'm not going to make everybody wait. This is still ongoing. You can see as well that AMC came right up towards the top of that wee boxy box there and then pushed back down the way, but it's still ongoing. We're looking to look, you know, there's more about the fact about the sort of the stop of the continuation towards the downside, so that's decent enough. How did the volume look in that candle as it happened? Yeah, you know, nothing, just still nothing. Right, so I'm going to just quickly jump on through some markets here. I'll record this as well so I can publish it separately. I am recording this kind of already at the minute, but record it. Let me just bring up the Bitcoin